How you doing? I'm Andrew. Today I'd like to teach you how to find the intercepts and the asymptotes of the following rational function of 2x squared minus 3x minus 20 all over x minus 5. So the first thing is, why don't we focus on the intercepts? Okay, so when we want to find the intercepts, we want to find both the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. Now the process for finding each is slightly different, but they both have some similarities. You have to remember that the x-intercept on a graph is where the function intersects the x-axis. So pretend you had this kind of little function like this. There would be two x-intercepts, right? They both cross the x-axis there. And what's unique about those points is that they have the same y value, right? The y value of all the x-intercepts is always going to be 0. And the x and the y-intercept, all right, where it crosses the y-axis, that's always going to have an x value being equal to 0. I know that sounds a little confusing and it's a little bit strange. It's like x-intercept y 0, but that's what it is. All right, so that's what we have to focus on now. So let's first find the x-intercept. So take your function. All right, this is saying k of x. That's the function. I'm just going to turn this into y. All right, because that's really the y. That's what gets plotted on the y-axis. All right, so I'm just going to write y is equal to now 2x squared minus 3x minus 20, all then being divided by x minus 5. So now, in order to find the x-intercept, I got to set this baby equal to 0, meaning I have to put y equal to 0. Okay, so I'm just going to do this, minus 3x minus 20, all over x minus 5. And now I have to solve this for x. That's the goal. All right, that's what I want to do. I want to find the x values when y is equal to 0. So if I set y equal to 0, and I solve this for x, that's what I'm doing. I'm finding the x values when y is 0. So just cross multiply here. That basically cancels the denominator. And you're left with 0 is equal to 2x squared minus 3x minus 20. And now you have to solve this. So we can use the quadratic, equation with the x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over, I know my handwriting sucks, but what are you going to do? 2a, can you even see that? I can't even see it. But anyway, that's the formula. And this would be your a, that's your b. Don't forget to take into account that it's negative 3, and that's your c. But I'm going to use, to save a little bit of time, I'm going to use the program I created in the calculator. So if you want this program for your calculator to be able to do this, see the description below. I'll leave you a link. So you go to Program, you go to your Basic. I have a program in here called Quad, and I'm going to execute it. Now just type in your a value. Your a value here, like we said, was 2. Hit Enter. Your b value was negative 3. Hit Enter. Your c value was negative 20. Hit Enter. And voila. Those are your x values. Isn't that kind of nice? All right. So those are the x values. So now I'm going to erase this work. So I have my x values. I have my x values, in other words, where the function's value or the y value is equal to 0. So I have now these 2 points. I have then x is going to be equal to negative 2.5. And then the y is 0, so that's one x coordinate, or I should say one coordinate of the x-intercept. And then the second one is going to be 4, 0. Remember, it's always written x, y for all coordinates on a two-dimensional graph, assuming you're dealing with Cartesian coordinates. The next one is going to be now finding the y-intercept. So this is everywhere x is 0. So again, rewrite your function. Okay, probably shouldn't have erased it to save a little bit of time, but what are you going to do? So then we're going to divide this by, it's one of my favorite sayings, by the way. It's like when anything bad happens, it's like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? What are you going to do? So, what are you going to do? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take, that's what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take 0, okay? X is going to be equal to 0. I'm going to plug it in everywhere we have our x now. All right? And what that's going to do is help us calculate the y-intercept. So everywhere you have now an x, just simply plug in a 0. And all you're going to do then is solve it. 0 minus 5. This all gets reduced down. The numerator is just basically negative 20. The denominator is negative 5. So y is going to be equal to 4. And that's now the y-coordinate of your y-intercept. So the y-intercept now will have a coordinate of 0 because that's the x value. And then the y we calculated is 4. All right? So those are the 2 intercepts, and that's all there is to it. All right. Next we're going to do is we're going to do the asymptotes. All right. So there's three types of asymptotes, but there's two main ways in which you're going to calculate it. The one way we're going to do it is we have vertical asymptotes, and then we're going to have horizontal asymptotes or slant asymptotes. There are three different things, but there's two main categories in how to look at it. To find any vertical asymptotes, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your function, you're going to look at the denominator, and you're going to set this bad boy equal to 0. And the reason why is because if you take that denominator, meaning x minus 5, I'll write that first, and set that equal to 0, what you're doing is you're saying what value of x will this denominator become 0. So obviously x has to be 5. Okay, and what that means is that when x is 5, this denominator over here goes to 0. And when the denominator of any function goes to 0, can you divide this? Please say no. Right? No, you can't do that. It's undefined. Watch, type anything. 5 divided by 0. Your calculator is going to go crazy. See? Gives me all error divide by 0. What the heck are you doing? It might as well say. All right, we can't do it. We cannot divide by 0. So that's the idea. All right, that's where the vertical asymptotes are. And also remember that all vertical lines will have x being equal to some constant value. Okay, so hopefully that sounds good. Now to deal with horizontal and slant asymptotes, what we're going to do is we have to first determine whether this is called a top-heavy function, an equally heavy function, or a bottom-heavy function. I don't think that's mathematical terminology, but it gets the point across. So how do we do this? So we're going to go back. You want to look at your function overall. Okay, look at the function. And you're going to locate the highest power of x in the numerator, highest power of x in the denominator. So basically the highest power of x in the numerator is a 2. The highest power of x in the denominator is a 1, right? If there's no exponent there, it's assumed to be 1. So this is known as a top-heavy function. When the highest power of x in the numerator is bigger than the highest power of x in the denominator, that's top-heavy. If, let's say, this were a 2, then that would have been equally heavy. And if this were a 3, that would have been a bottom-heavy function. So it turns out that the two types, the equal and bottom, will both have horizontal asymptotes. Okay, those are nice. There's a different technique we use to find those. And for this one, we're going to have this example is a top-heavy function, and that's when you have a slant asymptote. Okay, now there is a slightly different method now used to find each, and the horizontal is a lot easier, and I have like 20 videos. Just look at this playlist, a few problems prior to this, and you will be able to find a lot of examples in how to solve horizontal asymptotes. But for slant asymptotes now, we have to perform a certain process. What we're going to do is we have to do long division. Long division, my friend. All right, we got to divide this denominator into the numerator, okay, or this divisor into this dividend. So we set it up. So we go x minus 5. We write our little division symbol, and then we go 2x squared minus 3x minus 20. And now we do long division. If this is a little hard, I'm going to run through it. If this is hard, I get tons of videos on this too. All right, check out our channel. We have thousands of videos out there. Tons and tons of practice. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to, in order to do the long division, we look at the highest power of x here with its coefficient in the dividend. We look at the highest power of x in the divisor, and we are going to divide the two. So we take the x squared of the dividend, the 2x squared of the dividend, and divide it then by the x of the divisor. And we just reduce this. It's going to be 2x. Okay, 2x. So that's what I write on the top, 2x. Okay. Then what I do is now I'm going to set up my subtraction, symbol parentheses. And then I got to take this quotient. This is basically the quotient. Whenever you divide something, the answer is going to be the quotient. You got to take the quotient and then multiply it by each of the terms in the divisor. All right. Are you getting confused with the terminology? I am. I don't know about you. But all this terminology, dividend, divisor, quotient, divide, numerator, whatever. So we have to distribute this quotient to the divisor, each term. All right. So the 2x times then the x is going to be a 2x squared. And then we got to take the 2x, multiply it by the negative 5. And that's going to give us negative 10x. Okay. Then what you have to do is take this negative sign and distribute it to each of those terms. Okay. And the 2x squared becomes negative. This becomes a positive. And now you're going to add this on up. And if done correctly, these should cancel, right? These here should cancel. They should go bye-bye. And now we're just going to add this all together. So this becomes now a 7x minus 20. All right, cool. Let's clean this up a little bit. And now all we're going to do is we are going to now do it again. Okay, we're going to do it again. Take the highest power of x here in your new dividend, we can call it 7x, divided by the highest power of x here, which is just x. Reduce that down, it becomes 7, positive 7, so that's why it's going to be a plus 7 up there. And now the same process, right? We just follow the same algorithm, which is a technical name for just a series of steps. We're going to take the positive 7 over here and multiply by each term of that divisor. And then we're going to get 7x, and then we're going to get minus 35. Okay? Now again, take the negative sign here and distribute it to each of those terms. All right, hop it on over like a little bunny. And we're going to get a negative 7x, positive now 35. And again, if done correctly, these terms, the first term should always cancel. And now these might cancel, they might not, don't worry about it. But after we add these together, we're going to get a positive 15, okay? Now, since there's no more x here, since now we have basically this is like a dividend that has a lower power of x, right? There is no x, it's really like x to the 0. And this divisor has x to the first. Once we have that situation, we know we're done. Okay, we're finished. So to finish this out, which you don't even need, but if you were to finish this long division out, you take the remainder 15 and then you always put it over the divisor, which is x minus 5. So this is the technical this is the quotient. That's the full answer. Okay, but the nice part is that you really don't give a darn about this part. You don't care about the remainder. You just care about this. Everything but the remainder. This is the equation now of your slant asymptote. Notice how it is a linear line and it has some positive slope of 2x, y-intercept of positive 7. All right, that's going to be the slant asymptote. So now we have enough information given the intercepts and the asymptote. And also, by the way, don't forget the vertical asymptote to kind of graph this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph. We go over here and try to draw a straighter line. Thank God for autocorrect. I'll put the axis on down there, and now we're going to start plotting some of the points. Okay, I'm going to plot the points in blue. So the x points, okay, we got the x-intercepts, negative 2.5, so we go 1, 2, 2.5, boom, right there. The other one's 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. And then we got 0, positive 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so up here. All right, now let's do the let's do the vertical asymptote of x equals 5, so you got to go out to 5. You know, here's your 5, and it's basically a straight line on down. Okay, let's just move that over a little bit. I'm going to dash it just so that we don't get confused that it is an asymptote, all right, and not part of the regular line that I'm going to draw in blue. Then I'm going to now plot the slant asymptote. So it has a y-intercept of 7, so you can go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here it is. And then your slope is a positive 2, so that means you got to go up 2 and over 1, up 2 and since it's positive, you go to the right one. All right. If it were negative, if it were negative, you would have gone up 2 and then over 1 that way. All right. Or you can go to have this become positive. You can go down 2, which is a negative, then over to the left 1, which is also negative. Right. You're moving in the negative directions, which is a positive overall also. So that's how we can draw that. All right. And now I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. Try to make this a little bit straighter. And that looks pretty good to me. So now we just have to sketch the function. Now these, actually I'll dash this too, right? Why not? Hopefully your classes are going well. You're like, yep, I love it. Isn't this fun? It's not that bad. You know what? This is kind of like if you're not, imagine you don't know how to play the piano, right? And you sit down at the piano and you're like, God, this sucks. Of course it sucks. You don't know how to play, right? It's not very fun if you don't know how to play. But you have to have the determination at the beginning to learn how to play. And once you learn how to play and you can start composing songs, it becomes more interesting. It becomes fun. You can do stuff with it. And I'm starting to scribble on the page. I'm trailing off myself. But that's the idea. All right. So if something is frustrating and you feel like, man, I'm just not good at it, that could be part of the reason why you don't like it. All right. And that means you might just have to spend a little bit more time in it to become better at it. But once you can become better at it, I promise it'll become more interesting. So now all we have to do, now that my tirade is done, now all we have to do is kind of just graph this. So these are the bounds. These are the points I got to hit. You know, so somehow I can't have the function cross the asymptote, right? I can't have this thing cross any asymptote. I'm kind of bounded in this region. So I think the graph is going to look something, it's going to look something like, try to adjust this a little bit. It might not work out perfectly, but it's going to look something like this-ish. Something like this. And I don't know where the peak is exactly, but we're going to get this approximately right. Okay? Remember, it's better to be approximately right than precisely wrong. All right? So that's kind of the graph. That's it. That's what it should look like. Now, you can also use your calculator if you want. Watch. Go to y equals, clear out any other graphs that you have in there, and plot the original function. So we're going to do, I'm going to open parentheses because I got to make sure this stays in the numerator. So 2x squared, all right, where's the squared? 2x squared minus 3x minus 20. All right, then close the parentheses, divide it now by the whole denominator of x, then minus 5. And now I'm just going to go to zoom standard for a second. Make sure, and there it is. Look, right? Isn't that basically what I have there on my graph? Now you can also plot, now I can't plot any vertical asymptotes because all of the y equals, this is all y equals, but the vertical asymptote is x equals, so I can't really plot that line here easily on this graph or on this calculator. So what I'm going to do though is plot the slant asymptote that we said. So watch, 2x plus 7, that's a minus sign, Andrew, plus 7. I'm going to hit graph. And look, right? Boom, here it is. Doesn't that look exactly like our graph, basically? Right, with the slant asymptote, you see how the function here in blue is approaching, but will never touch and never cross that slant asymptote, right? It's kind of a beautiful thing after you get this all done, right? It's like, I solved the problem. It's kind of satisfying, right? And that's all there is to it, all right? All right, enough of saying all right. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I really do hope this helps. And if it does, if you don't mind giving us a hand, like, subscribe, maybe even tell some of your classmates. We'd love to help more people. And we have thousands, like I was mentioning, videos. Not only in mathematics, but we got chemistry, physics as well. We have a lot of stuff coming out. We really want to help you through your class. All right? And we focus on problems because guess what you're going to see on your test? That's right. Problems. Take care.